Think we're ready?
I don't know. Thought it was Casper there for a minute.
Call the meeting of the Ramsey County Commission to order. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and liberty and justice for all. Hearing echoes in my ear. I'd like to welcome everybody in person and online. We have Commissioner Volk on one speakerphone and Commissioner Wilhelmy on the other. Good morning. No, he's not there. Does he need to call in? Commissioner Wilhelmy hasn't called in yet, but we do have Commissioner Volk on this speakerphone. First item on the agenda would be to the approval of the minutes. We have a motion. We have a second to approve the minutes as submitted. Both the regular meeting and the special minutes. Okay. That okay with you, Mr. Commissioner Volk? Yeah. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of the bills. We had a list of bills in our packets and additional bills showed up late yesterday afternoon.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bills as submitted. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Otis,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye. Bills are paid. Motion carries. Approval of the financial reports. Within our packets, we had financial reports for the month of July. Anything stand out to anybody? Any questions? Anything for Candy that you'd like to point out?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second to approve the financial reports. Further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Gessner,
Aye.
Volk, Otis,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Financials are approved. Treasurer's checks.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's checks. Further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Otis,
Aye.
Volk, Gessner,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the agenda. Anything to add to the agenda for today?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as submitted, as published. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. First item on the agenda would be Albina Emmensteiner, Ramsey County Fair. Good morning, Albina.
Good morning.
Come on up to the podium, please.
I'm here to give you an update on our financial planning for the Fair Board. And I submitted our expenses as we have them projected for the next year. This year we had an increase in our Achievement Days activity. So we raised our projection for that, and for utilities and insurance, we also raised our projections for that just for the cost of changes. I have on here projected a loan payment for $14,400. That will go away because we have paid off the loan for the existing building out at the fairgrounds. Under fairground maintenance, the Fair Board has purchased a Gravely mower so we can do our own mowing out there, and we don't have to have that expensed out to an outside party. With the purchase of that mower, we were also given a $5,000 grant for the Fair Foundation towards the new building that we're building. We raised our advertising expense by $1,000 for this year because we will have more expenses with our new building that's being built. Advertising events and things out there. And then as far as the Ramsey County Fair Foundation, we're working towards getting more grants for that. We have a grant from the North Dakota Game and Fish that will be paid to us, and that's $15,000 or $50,000. And also the Garrison Diversion grant for $75,000 will be paid to the Fair Foundation now that we've got the new building started. We're anticipating pledges that have been made to the Fair Foundation to come in this year at $13,973. And we are applying again for the Otto Bremer grant to get bleachers in the new building. We did have a report from Dennis Gleason at our last meeting, and he told us that they're about a month behind on their projected time for the building because of all the rain that we've had. They've spent considerable amount of time pumping water out of the trenches for the footings and stuff. So, but we have made 2 payments to Gleason Construction for the building, one for $276,000 and one for $231,000. So, any questions?
Any questions for Elvina or from the Fair Foundation or the Fair Board?
Elvina, do you know how close you guys are to raising the money that you guys needed?
We need about 800,000 more yet, and we're still working on donations and different grants that are available.
All right, thank you.
Other questions for Elvina? Elvina, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We're going to hold on a second. I think Commissioner Wilhelm is trying to get online with us.
Good morning.
We are just finished up with the Fair Foundation's budget presentation. Moving on to the regional airport. Mr. Cruz, welcome. Good morning.
I guess you've all got a copy of our budget proposal. And as you can see, our projection for the end of 25, we're going to be about $91,000 short. Some of that is due to the forecast 2 mills that the fire department needs and $20,000 off of our lot fees from the city that for the city to take over the aircraft rescue firefighting. Basically being there when the plane is coming and going. They're adding another man, and that's kind of part of the funding they're going to need to do that. Somewhere along the line, we're hoping to save some money in wages. Our deal with the city was to go down to 2 full-time men and a manager. We'll see how that works out. So not sure where, one of our biggest expenses, of course, is wages. And we're hoping to do a little cut in there before too long. Most everything else, like our terminal, we're expecting some significant increases in the operating costs for that due to the size that we doubled it with the project. That's an unknown, but we're predicting that it'll get a little higher. On the lighter side, I guess, anybody got any questions on the budget?
$91,000 shortfall.
So we're projecting, yes. So we'll be losing roughly $70,000 that will go to the fire department for the ARF mission that they're on.
Please continue.
Okay. So the FAA, last year we reached a milestone we've been looking at getting to for a while. We reached 8,000 passenger boardings, and that will increase our 2024 AIP funding entitlements from 159,000 to 600,000 for fiscal year 2024. And now the FAA has come out with a new formula for calculating AIP funding. And from what I understand now, they're going to be doing $50 per passenger for the first 2,500. And after that, they will do $153.33 per passenger for the next 7,499. We're really projecting we'll hit about 9,000 passengers this year, the way our boardings last 17 of 18 months have been record boarding numbers for us at the airport. Really good to see. So we're projecting 9,000. That would bring our AIP funding up for fiscal year 2025 to 1.121 million. So we're real hopeful that that'll happen. That's the lighter side of, and they're also decreasing the local share from 10% to 5% for, I think it's 25, 26. So that's good for our airport and the improvements we need to make out there. So that's about all I have. If anybody's got any questions.
And what you're asking from the county is just the standard 4 mill assessment.
Yeah, it's my understanding that's all that they can do is the.
Correct.
Yeah.
So those increases that you're projecting Was it EIP funding? Is that what you called it?
AIP, Airport Improvement Program, yes.
Okay, so that's just funds that go into the facility.
No, that's used for airport improvement projects. You can't use it for operational expenses or any of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I think coming down the road, we're going to have to look at another way to raise funds. And from it's my understanding, the only way we can do that is to put it to the voters, like so many other organizations have done. But it's pretty tough to run the airport on the amount of money we have in a year. We don't have any bells or whistles. We're just keeping the doors open, and so that's going to be something we have to look at in the future, real near future.
Have we come up with a date for the dedication of the new facility?
Right now, it's currently done the first week in October. We have to work with TSA. So yeah, we'll show their facility also. We're trying to do a business outcome grant.
It'd be great. I think everybody needs to see it. It's a fantastic new addition to our community and something that the airport authority should be really proud of. So I have nothing further for Scott or Dennis. Anything for us?
I don't think so.
Commissioners, anything?
Nope.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next up, we'd have Mr. Jager, Emergency Management. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Not too much changes on my budget. The only thing I really kind of deducted from was the technology. I'm not really planning on adding anything major this coming year. I had a slight increase on my telephone because I keep running that into the negative. Sorry, Candy. Any questions on the first budget?
Fixed charges. The fixed charges. It's on the first page.
Page
Oh.
35.
Yep. Yep.
You have nothing on there?
I do.
36.
36.
Okay.
The one that was left blank.
And the 36 is
Health insurance.
Dental vision.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and I did the, like you said, the little increase. I do feel that I've gone up and beyond what I've been mainly doing, and it would be nice to see an increase and something maybe we can discuss later, but I did put down what you guys asked for.
Is that 60,000 for radio is going to be enough
I'm really hoping so.
for your office?
I'm really hoping so. I know Motorola just came out and said they have a little increase on their pricing, so I'm really hoping that 60 is going to make it. If not, I might have to sacrifice and get one radio short or a few radios short just to make it to the next budget cycle.
Is it 26 that siren has to be
Yep.
operational?
Siren won't necessarily be operational, but we have to get
Right.
our reimbursement back from Motorola by 26.
So that's 60,000. That's
Just my office.
right, but it's figuring the reimbursement in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish radios were cheaper, but unfortunately, I can't
Yeah.
take those
No.
prices.
Well, it's certainly been a supplier's market when the legislature says that all entities are gonna have new radios by such and such a date. Would have been good to be Motorola. Anything else for Chris? That's first budget.
Yep.
Okay.
And I hope I have my pages correct. The next one would be hazardous chemicals.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Absolutely no change there. I kept that all the same. So that one was easy. You guys are gonna like the next one. Unless you, sorry, do you have questions on that one?
Nope.
Okay.
Actually, I do. Chris, what do we get for 6,200?
Can you be more specific?
Well, you have, you be more specific. You got out there with like, right?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know what you're using for that. That's like,
for training. So if there's a hazardous chemical training, it would be used for travel and lodging.
okay. All right. That's what I was wondering. You use for both.
Yep. Yep.
And generally, isn't that money in, money out?
Generally, it's meant money in, money out. Usually. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
So is that typically yearly then?
Yearly. Yep.
They have something.
Usually they do. It's always in West Virginia or California.
Oh.
It's usually big money
Okay.
courses.
It's not going down to Bismarck then, obviously.
No, it's not Bismarck. Mainly it's out of state travel for those ones.
Okay.
So is the next one my pre-disaster?
Drone team. I've got drone team.
Okay. Was this one placed in there?
I don't think so. A pre-disaster.
Well, so I guess I hold it. It is the pre-disaster mitigation. It was the multi-hazard mitigation budget. Since that plan has been completed, I'm zeroing that budget out, so we won't need the page 1, 2, 22.
Yep, looks zeroed.
Yep, we'll zero that budget out and start the planning process for the next plan.
How good is that plan for now?
6 years, I believe now.
6 years from when it was supposed to be done, or 6 years from when it was?
I haven't got that answered yet. but I believe it's till when it's finished. Is my hopes.
I would think that it would go from the time that it's FEMA approved.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's my hope.
And it's FEMA approved then.
It is FEMA approved. Yep. We are just waiting on the final steps of getting the hard copies.
Okay.
Okay, and the next one would be the drone.
Yeah.
Okay. No change whatsoever again. We have been extremely busy. A lot of organizations have been reaching out even further than our thoughts were. We are now officially registered with North Dakota DES and the federal Aloft program. So no change on that.
What's a loft program?
The Aloft program is where we get clearance to actually take off in restricted air zones.
Okay.
They basically give us authorization through FEMA. It's a really quick step process. It's nice.
How about pilots?
Pilots, we're looking at starting new pilots somewhere in the middle of August now. We're hoping the new classes start.
Yeah.
So,
And that would bring in how many?
Currently, I think there was 8 looking at joining. Whether there are going to be 8 when I start the class, so, definitely needed, especially from the first responder world. All right, next one. Or is that all of them?
That's all.
I think risk management,
Oh,
14.
and no change to that.
Is there an amount of time that you spend on that, or is it
I do. I'm
depend on circumstances?
Circumstances too. I would suppose I'm Brian's backup. Anytime there's trainings, I try to attend as best as I can, without it conflicting with my other duties. But I still keep plugging away.
Anybody have any questions for Chris? Chris, anything else for us? Yep, go ahead, Blaine.
I got a question on the drone. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
So this $30,000, is this going to be a ongoing thing, or is this to get this one and then it's eventually going to be left?
No, it was ongoing. That's how it was voted. I was the continual support from the commission to keep that program operational.
So is there any money that comes back on this drone?
Yes, depending on if it could be billable.
Do you have those numbers for us or not?
No, I do not.
Just curious on like how much it offsets each other.
They don't offset very well because mainly it's for public safety, for the fire departments, police departments, ambulance service, all those programs.
And there's nothing out there that we can do a grant system for that, for the fact that, is it like to keep the drone operational or just to get a new drone?
It would be for operational, and of course, if we need to get a new drone, it would also be a part of that. But no, there is no granting available for UAS at the moment.
Well, I was just curious because it's involved in like the police department, the city, you know what I'm saying? The fire department, like, somewhere funding this and then they're getting the use of it because we're giving them the use of it?
Usually in really odd circumstances, usually, except for helping the city out. They have also contributed in the past. We helped them with a road project and also their snow pile, seeing roughly how many cubic yards of snow have compiled into their snow banks, their other snow bank holding area.
Like, I'll look at that, you know, just to make sure we justify it, you know. But, no, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for Chris? Hearing nothing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gunderson, welcome.
Got two estimates for the handicap door for the bathrooms on second floor. They'd be just like the ones here on first. One for 5718 from Lakeside Lock and Key, and the other for 7,000 from the glass shop. So I guess I see no reason why not to go with Lakeside. There is still electrician estimate that I don't have in here, but that'll be minimal just to get to run the power to the
To
open.
the switch.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to make a motion to go ahead and approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
The low bid from Lakeside Lock and Key.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I would second that.
we have a motion. We have a second to go ahead with the low proposed bids for the remote entries for the bathrooms on second floor. 5718 from Lakeside Lock and Key. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Roger?
Yeah, the lighting here for the back parking lot, run into some issues with that. Tried two places, couldn't put it on either side of the west entry here of the sheriff's house. The old well in one spot, and they think there's a cistern in the other. But once the new generator is in, we could possibly put it where that wooden fence is, right between the two buildings that I originally was thinking about putting it there. But then there was some issue with the generator going in. But like I said, once that's in there, maybe we can just stick it there again.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
And I had talked to Amy Monson in Bismarck Historic Register of Buildings about attaching one to the sheriff's house, and they weren't real wild about that idea. So I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see. And as far as the generator, last I was told it could have gone in July, but although we did have a couple guys here, I think week before last, measuring in the old room, final measurements, and so hopefully we're getting closer.
Good.
Earlier they had said October, and then maybe July, but even if it's October, that'd be good.
Good.
So
I'm glad you're keeping up on that. Appreciate that. The landscaping for the memorial building, will that be completed by Friday?
I intend to have it done today.
Weather permitting?
Yeah. I don't think it's supposed to rain on Friday.
I don't think so. But you never know.
Yeah.
So appreciate your work on that as well. So thank you.
Okay.
Anything else for Roger? Roger, hearing anything else from us?
I'm good.
All right. Appreciate you coming in.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you. We'll, I don't know if we want to run over and grab the water board or have Brian.
I can do it.
See if, what page was there, water board? 51.
51.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, how you doing?
Great, how are you? Come on in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I guess we have had an amendment to our budget in the last couple months due to some unforeseen new and higher costs coming forward into 2025. The main one would probably be the engineering costs due to the stream crossings no longer by the Department of Water Resources potentially. And then we have increased costs with payroll, including health insurance, retirement wages, and mileage. And then some of the legislative changes that have taken place in the last two sessions have changed some of the century codes, which has raised some costs in our publications for some proposed projects that we're trying to do. So we'd like to raise our original request from 1.5 to 2.5 to help with these unforeseen changes that came since we submitted the first budget proposal.
So, and it's basically asking for one additional mill. Water boards by statute can assess up to 4 mills or ask for up to 4 mills. Water board's been very consistent on their request for funding. For the past several years, they haven't asked for any increases. This is something that I brought up with them and thought that it would be a really good idea for them to come up with and ask for some additional funding based on some of the changes that are on the horizon with the water world. And some of those costs are going to come back to our local entities. And I think it's very prudent of them to ask for that. So anybody have any questions for Mr. Brown?
So you said you're going from 1.5 to 2.5?
Yep. We've been trying to work it down, but some of these unforeseen costs that kind of come off in the new legislation and some of the engineering costs, we feel that we need to have a little more buffer in our budget to handle some of these costs going forward so we can help people that come in and ask for it.
I think it's a very reasonable request. Anybody have anything else for John? Anything else from the water board today?
Not that I'm aware of. We're still working on the County 10 project, and we're working on possibly looking at some another new assessment, possibly with the lot and coulee.
Yep.
There's some ongoing changes. Everybody knows when it rains more, you're going to have more problems with water, and it's been a continual battle with the lake and the situation that we're in, that it can't get to the lake fast enough for most people, which is always cumbersome to someone downstream.
Yes, it is. So
other than that, we'll just keep trying to do our best.
that's all we can do.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for John?
We're good.
No, I think we're good. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Singer. I think we have a discussion from Brian Singer, HR coordinator for Ramsey County. Go ahead.
Good morning. Guess today I would be got a couple of things on the agenda. The technology coordinator position, and then the new or the Indy PERS safety plan. I don't know if you guys got a chance to review the information I emailed you. I just asking if you have any questions from there, and my request would be a board approval to move our law enforcement over to the safety plan effective January 1st.
Anybody have any questions for moving the law enforcement officials over to the ND PERS safety plan? I think it ended up roughly costing about 27,000
Right.
additional. And can you give a brief synopsis of what that in those enhancements are?
Some of the major ones are, especially for the new hires, would be the contribution into the health credit insurance plan that would go to, it's an allotment of funds that'll go to that person when they retire for their Part D and Part B, Part C Advantage plans. So those are very, very nice. The rule of 85 sticks, or when the retirement or when the retiree turns age 55, actually, they would be eligible for the full compensation of the pension. Those are some of the big ones.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this is just for all new employees, or this would be all employees on board?
The entire department would move over to the safety plan, and then any new hires effective January 1st.
Okay, thank you.
And this comes out of the sheriff's budget then. Is that correct? Or is that, where does that come from? That doesn't come out of the sheriff's budget.
ND PERS has separate account.
But we have to kick in, right?
Yeah.
So,
Comes out of our general fund.
okay.
And my best math again was approximately a little over 27,000, and an increase of keeping the employees in the main plan. We did talk about this being a recruiting tool. Most of the counties, cities use the safety plan for their law enforcement agencies.
Makes sense. I think it's hopefully it works out as a good recruiting tool for our first responders.
And I don't know if Sheriff Lang has anything to add, but we've talked about it, and I think he's obviously on board with it too. So.
Okay. We need a motion to go ahead with that.
We do.
Okay.
That would be part of the packet we'll submit to Indy PERS.
I'll make that motion that we move on with the new plan.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second to go ahead and go to the safety plan for ND PERS for our first responders, for our law enforcement officials. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Did you have something, Candy?
Well, isn't there a resolution that we have to do?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get together on that and break
Okay.
that out. They've
Okay.
got some detailed steps
Yeah.
of what needs to be
There's
done.
Okay.
They will submit the minutes of the agreement, and
The resolution going ahead and supporting it.
right.
Yeah.
And there's a participation agreement. There's some other like data collecting stuff, obviously, of the employees that has to be submitted to Indy PERS. So yeah, a little bit of background work to make it official. So
Okay. I think that motion should cover that participation in the resolution. So if you need anything else, let us know.
right. Yeah, we've got some time, but this is the right time to make the decision because of budgets, I guess. So next subject is the technology coordinator position, the IT GIS position. We had a closing date of Friday and received 3 applicants with pretty good IT experience, no GIS experience in their work history. Jeff probably could chime in a little bit here, but a decision, I guess, would have to be made is, do we want to move forward with interviewing these applicants? And all in their application are in the willingness of learning the GIS position, which we think is a teachable, a learnable position that they can learn over the years. But we are finding just through word of mouth, it's the GIS position is going to be very, very difficult to fill, find that expertise in that line of work. We may have to step up and train, send that person to education for this.
That's one of the concerns that we had with this, was finding that magical, mythical unicorn out there in the employment world of having somebody that had both IT and GIS backgrounds looking for a position in Devils Lake, North Dakota. So, and talking with some people out in the world that utilize some of this technology, they indicated to me that it'd be a lot better to have somebody with an IT background and be easier to learn GIS than have GIS and try to learn IT. So
I agree with you, Jeff.
I think going forward with the interview process of the 3 applicants that we have would be a prudent decision on our part.
But it doesn't, if there's any more, it doesn't close until Friday, correct?
No, it closed last Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it has been closed. We got the 3 applicants. They filled out the necessary paperwork that was required, and we could set up an interview process with the 3 of them.
Do we have a interview board that's gonna be on the board, or how do we go about that?
That'd be the next thing to do. If we want to decide to go ahead with the interview process with the 3 that we have, we need to set up a board to interview.
You need a motion.
I'll make the motion that we move on and interview the 3 applicants we have.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion and a second to go ahead with the interview process for the IT GIS position, the technology coordinator, as it was referred to. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item would be to set up a hiring or an interview committee. And certainly I think Brian would be the logical choice, as well as the portfolio commissioner, which I think is Commissioner Volk.
Yes.
I guess.
I'd like to sit on that board.
Okay. As chairman, I think I would like to be a part of that as well. And I don't know if we need more than that, or
3 of you would be fine.
the 3 of us would be fine. Okay. We'll go ahead and entertain that as a motion as well, so it's official.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to have a technology coordinator hiring committee of HR coordinator Brian Singer, portfolio commissioner Volk, and chairman myself on that committee. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll work through all our schedules and try to get that set up here within the next.
Yeah, I'll get with you guys offline.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll put together a questionnaire form. We're going to get some more information from another county, and then I've got some information myself that we'll get the questionnaire.
Thanks, Brian.
Go from there. You're welcome, Blaine.
Thank you.
And then just real quickly, just for a future presentation, I'll get some information sent out to the board members on the NDPERS defined contribution plan, the new change that'll happen January 1st for our new hires, and how that'll work. It'll be more of a traditional, like we've mentioned, a traditional 401k type plan, and just let you guys know how that goes, because we'll need again a resolution, participation agreement, and all those things for that. So in the very near future board meeting, I'll get myself on the agenda and kind of separate it a little bit from the rest of this. So that's going on. So
Sure.
some other NDPERS decisions we need to make. So
Okay. Looking forward to it.
I bet you guys are.
Thank you. Anything else for Brian?
I got one question from last meeting when we changed the base pay for the veterans service officer.
Okay. Yep.
Did that change? Did that knock him back in steps then? Or does that,
He's going to have a lateral move in steps
okay,
to the next grade.
okay.
So,
I just thought, Lane and I had talked about,
right.
did that erase his service time and
No,
all that, and just making sure that we didn't.
no,
Okay.
no, that was in the forethought of myself also. Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't want it to be a penalty, so to speak.
Right.
So,
Exactly. That's
yep.
what we were thinking. So. Thank you.
Any other questions for Brian? Hearing none. Thank you, Brian, for coming in.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. See, we're about an hour away from Blue Cross. Okay. Kevin, we'll move you up.
Morning.
Good morning.
So to start off, just a update on the projects we have going now. Our chip seal, they still haven't got the white lines painted. I think he's inundated with work, but the yellow ones are there, so we're still waiting for that to get completed. On our culvert replacements, we did manage to get one of the big coulee culverts sets put in. We didn't get two of the other ones done because of the water. So I know we took the rental unit back, so yeah, the water is just too deep to try and do anything there. We got on one of the sites we have to remove culverts and set elevations and everything, so it's just not feasible to do with the 5 to 6 feet of water that's there. Any questions on those two? On the dust control, that is all done now. We got the invoice and we'll be sending bills to the local people that live there to pay their share. The thin lift overlay project on Ramsey 3, we had our pre-conference, and the contractors predicting they'll start work around August 19th, summertime around that week. And weather permitting everything, they didn't figure it'd take more than a week to get it done. So, any questions there? The gravel projects we have this year, I did talk to Close. He's got all of our gravel projects this year, and they were going to get back to me on a schedule, and I have not heard back from them as to when they'll be starting. But there's 5 projects. The deadline on all 5 of them is September 15th, so we're a month and a half away from that. Any questions there? Okay, like I said, we took the excavator back to Ironhide Equipment. We didn't have it for as long as we predicted, so the charge on that was $6,099.06. So I'd like to entertain a motion to pay for that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and pay Iron Height Equipment for the rental of the excavator, $6,099.06. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Volk,
Aye.
Otis,
All right.
Gessner,
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay, the North Dakota DOT has sent us two separate invoices, one for bridge inspections, and the other one was for our share of the payments on the box culvert that was put in last year. And those two totaled $2,778.46. So I'd like to entertain a motion to pay that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second to go ahead and pay North Dakota Department of Transportation for invoices. As Kevin indicated, total amount of $2,778.46. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Otis,
All right.
Gessner,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, the final bill for the dust control that Craig's Dust Control did was $12,350. That's 100% of the invoice, and we'll be billing the homeowners for 25% of that. So I'd like to entertain a motion to pay Craig's Dust Control.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and pay Craig's Dust Control, $12,350. Further discussion?
Do you have troubles collecting?
Not generally, no. At 25%, the bills are less than around $500, so it's generally not an issue.
What is the cost per mile to spray that?
Roughly $2. When we first started doing this, it was $1. Now it's up to $2. It is a 25-foot wide road. Every foot is $2.
Okay. There's certain days that truck road is incredibly dusty. Yeah, I just wonder if it would be a safety concern to maybe put some.
I think the city should get on board and try to pave that truck route myself.
I would agree on that.
I mean, when the school got added in, they put those exits out of there. That route is traveled a lot.
Yep. I agree. It would be a benefit to our community, and then you'd stop having those heavy trucks coming through town. So do a bypass on both.
I would like to know hey, Kevin, could you put a line counter out there and see what the travel is on it?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's harvest now, but at least we know.
Well, with school starting, you're going to see that being used a lot.
We're talking truck road, not 14th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, the one that goes by the deaf school. That's what we're talking.
No.
Oh, you're talking the outside one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's traveled a lot too.
Yeah. I think they both get heavily used, especially this time of year with harvest right around the corner. I think it'll get a lot of use. And
I think both areas should be looked at in consideration of trying to maybe pave them sometime.
yeah.
We do have numbers for that 14th Street or 14th Avenue. I don't know, by the terminal there. From when school's going, 4th of July weekend. I mean, we've done numerous road counts there. I can get you that information if you want it.
Yeah, I can
Technically,
talk to
there's
you about that.
supposed to be trucks on that road.
Right.
I mean,
Correct.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
There is signs on the end that say no truck.
Right.
But doesn't pertain to everybody.
Okay. Okay, I think we need to, vote on the dust control, correct? Or did we?
We had a, no,
Motion?
yep, motion and second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Gessner,
Aye.
Hodis.
Aye.
Bulk,
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
The guys picked up some cutting edges for the motor graders from Butler Machinery. They cost $4,529.91. So I'd like to entertain a motion to pay them.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and pay Butler Machinery for the cutting edges, $4,529.91. Further discussion?
What's the longevity of that?
Depends on the weather. I mean, it's been wet this year, but generally when it starts getting dry, they burn up faster. So it really depends on the weather, how dry the road is.
Okay,
Probably a set in normal conditions, every 2 weeks. It really depends what they're doing.
we have a motion and a second to pay $4,529.91 to Butler Machinery for cutting edges. Roll call, please.
Hodis.
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Bulk,
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye, motion carries. We should go back and get, for the official record, get roll call votes, for Commissioner Wilhelmie on the
My bad.
previous motions. So for the Ironhide motion, we had a motion and a second to pay Ironhide Commissioner Wilhelmie $6,099.06.
My vote would be aye.
And for North Dakota DOT for $2778.46.
Aye.
And for Craig's Dust Control for $12,350.
Aye.
Okay. Now we're all cut up to date and everything's recorded.
Okay, the next item is we got an invoice from KLJ for the work they did on Ramsey 3, the thin lift overlay project. It was $2,994.16. We're paying for 100% of that project ourselves, so we end up paying for all of that. So I'd like to entertain a motion to pay KLJ.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second to go ahead and pay KLJ for the work they've done on Ramsey County 3 thin lift overlay project. $2,994.16. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Bulk,
Aye.
Hodis.
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We also had KLJ started the design work for 89th Avenue for South Milwaukee Township. That was that township assistance program that they got the grant for. They've been doing the survey work and the environmental work. And that's the ones that we turn into the state for reimbursement. We've turned this invoice into the state, but haven't seen the reimbursement yet. So that invoice is $35,552.08. So I'd like to entertain a motion to pay that invoice.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay KLJ for the design work on 89th Avenue Northeast for South Minnewacan Township, $35,552.08. Further discussion? Will that work get done this year, Kevin?
Nope, it's
No,
projected
it's in
to be done
next year.
The environmental stuff's gonna take too long.
Yeah. Okay. Any further discussion on the motion to pay KLJ for the South Minnewacan township work? Hearing none, roll call please.
Wilhelmie. Hodis.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye.
Volk.
Commissioner Volk,
Might have lost him there when it went.
Aye.
And Frit.
aye. Motion carries.
I called for quotes for P-Rock for next year's chip seal project. I just talked to two contractors. Pretty much that's all the ones that supply them is Strata and Gowan. Strata gave us a price of $24.92 a ton, and Gowan gave us a price of $18.75 a ton. That's delivered to Devil's Lake. For Gowan's total bill was then $37,000, or not billed, estimate $37,500. So I'd like to entertain a motion to accept that low quote from Gowan's.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have motion and a second to go ahead and accept the low bid from Gowan Construction for P-Rock chips for next year's chip seal project. $18.75 a ton, total of $37,500. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Last thing I have is our year-end report. I sent you guys a file for that. I have copies here if you want to look at one. But it's kind of a busy spreadsheet. It tells how much we spent for each road, how much we spent for each piece of equipment.
I would certainly like a copy if you have one.
I do.
And that gets a little busy on the computer. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. When you look at the first page is our roads, of course. So when you look at the high dollar ones, it's the roads that we ended up chip sealing last year. So that's just like a once every 6 year expense that makes them look like they had a lot of money spent on them. Also, the higher dollar ones are ones that got gravel. They're not as much money spent on them, but so any questions on the first page about the roads? Like I said, this is really busy, so if you need anything explained, why?
Anybody have any questions for Kevin on page one?
Okay, the second page and third page are all of our equipment. Trucks, pickups, semis, skid steers, loaders, everything that has an engine basically, and our trailers. So the last column explains it's our cost per mile or cost per hour. Some outfits tracked by the mile, some tracked by the hour.
Really a great information sheet.
If you look at unit 141, that's that new loader we got. We only had it for a few months last year's. That's why it is so expensive to own per hour, because we paid all the equipment insurance on it and everything, and then didn't have that many hours to balance it out. This does, if you go to the second page, under in the dark blue, there's a cutting edge column that shows how much each motor grader used cutting edges too. And that includes winter, summer and winter. Again, really busy. So if you have any questions, if you have a question that comes up later too, you can give me a call. Brent actually filled this out, so you could probably answer your questions also.
Anybody have any questions regarding the information here?
That's all I have. Unless you got something for me.
Again, really appreciate this
Yes.
information. Really nice to see the breakout.
It kind of helps for budgeting next year.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Caleb.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Remark technology contract.
All right. Well, on Friday afternoon, I got called down to review a contract between the county and Remark Consulting, who is going to provide some short-term IT coverage for us. There were several questions of the contract that I think need to be addressed. I also had Assistant State's Attorney Howell look at the contract. He agreed with me. We can certainly rewrite it, but I think we need some more clarity from the commission as to what you all were looking for. When I spoke with Joe Kramer on the phone, he indicated that he thought that this would be through the end of 2025. So I think that needs to get clarified amongst the commission. Additionally, he was asking a lot of questions about which tier of services we wanted to engage in, and I told him I didn't have that information. I'm hoping this is in your packet or copies in your packet. Generally speaking, it's a boilerplate contract. A lot of it is written to favor Remark Consulting. Some things that my department would suggest to you would be having a fixed start date and a fixed end date. We would also recommend no auto renewal, but instead having upon negotiation. We'd also recommend some changes to the liability sections. You can't disclaim intentional acts. You have to assume responsibility for those. And just a few other general changes, tweaks, clarifications. I know the intent or the goal was to get it done by today so it could get signed today. With where we're at, that's not going to happen. So I'm looking for any more direction that you all can give me and where you want to go with this. I guess it was my understanding that we were looking for someone for a very short period of time until we were able to hire a new technology director, coordinator. It sounds like we have 3 applicants, so hopefully that process moves along quicker than originally anticipated.
I think that was the original intent, was to have somebody on a short-term temporary basis. If, we were unable to fill that position, you know, in a quick timeline, we'd need somebody as backup type of situation. And so to the end of 24, maybe too long. Certainly to the end of 25 is, I think, unreasonable. I was thinking more towards the end of the third quarter, which would be the end of September. With the option of going to quarter number 4 if whoever the new technology coordinator is feeling the need of some additional support moving that way.
I agree. I think we start off with the third quarter, and if we need more support, and I guess I'd be willing to make a motion is have it through the third quarter with the option to go through the fourth quarter.
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second to go with a consulting agreement through the third quarter with an option to negotiate the fourth quarter of 2024.
Are you looking for something like a month-to-month basis after the end of quarter 3, or do you want the full quarter for quarter 4 if we have to dip into it?
I think to be fair to the company, we just do it by quarter.
Okay, that's fine. And I don't know how that's going to affect his wage, his rates.
Right.
But I'm sure once we get these proposed changes done and sent to him, he'll send something back to us.
Candy, do you think that will work with the IT needs of the county?
Well, my thing is if you go through, even if we have to go through the fourth quarter and we have someone on board, at least gives them someone to call if they have to.
Right. And we still have Steve as a
correct,
as a backup when he has time. He has agreed to help out on a temporary basis as well. So
Yeah, with all the things coming about now till the end of the year, I did get an email yesterday from Tyler Technology that end of September, first part of October, things will start. I don't know if it's the training part of it or, but yeah, that will kick in as well. And I know that Remark is familiar with Tyler Technology, so it would be nice to have that extra crutch. Because it'll be a learning, curve for all of us.
yeah. So you think the third quarter is enough, or do you think? I kind of forgot about that Tyler Technologies coming, that changeover.
I would recommend, taking it to the end of the year.
All right, I'll pull back my motion, and I'll make the motion that we just do it to the end of the year.
How about if we just amend your motion?
Okay, we can amend it. I'll amend that.
Thank you.
Do we have a second on the amendment?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend the contract with Remark through the end of the 2024 with the option for negotiations beyond that if needed.
Okay.
Would that work, Blaine?
Yeah.
Okay. Further discussion on the contract with Remark.
And this will include the changes that Bo suggests as far as the other, the
Terminology,
terminology.
I think so.
Okay, yeah, we'll just do a general cleanup.
Okay.
Thanks, Bo.
Not a problem.
And then what tier are you? I mean, he'll want to know that too.
And that might be something that'll have to be negotiated. I don't know if his pricing is gonna change when we tell him what he's looking for or what we're looking for. I don't know if he's gonna say, yeah, I'm still interested, or no thanks, I'm looking for something longer. I'll keep everybody up to date with what I find out. Unless you all have a idea which one you want to go with.
So basically it's tier 1
Till the end of the year.
till the end of the year is remote monitoring and support. Tier 2 through the end of the year is remote monitoring and support.
That's for 2025.
No, tier 2 is
He's got different options.
3 different options here.
Yeah.
So
I was just going down the line. Sorry. Gotcha.
Yeah, it looks like remote monitoring and support or remote monitoring and support plus are your two options.
one is looks like servers, 30 remote monitoring desktops, 10 servers, and then tier 2 would be remote monitoring and support plus on-site planning, analysis, design, implementation, and support.
And GIS.
And the last one would be include GIS.
So it looks like tier 1 is just running, but tier 2 is additional. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it all depends on how the individual takes whoever we hire also, you know, I mean,
So what has to be done with the GIS then till the end of the year?
I believe that
Is
Steve is going to
He can
do,
handle GIS till the end of the year or until this person gets trained.
um,
Whatever.
did he say the end of the year or till our contract was up?
I mean, the GIS part, can't we use Steve for that since he was doing our GIS?
I think we can.
Yeah.
I think that's something that he's agreed to.
Mhm.
And
So
I don't think we need to double up on that. I mean, because that's what we're
Right.
kind of doing here. I'm thinking that tier 1, like, I think it was Commissioner Wilhelm said that it will get us by, and that's what we were looking for,
right.
to get us by so that we can get someone's feet wet and move on. There's a lot of smart people out there, and I'm sure the individuals that apply are going to be all smart.
yeah,
So it looks like
I would say tier 1.
the very top line,
Mhm.
top option. Do you want a motion on that, Jeff?
yeah, let's do a motion on that.
I make motion that we use tier one rate for 2024.
Did we vote on the first one?
No,
I thought we did.
no, I don't think we did.
He amended it.
Yeah.
I don't think we.
So we'll take a first vote on the amended contract going to the end of the year. And then we'll have a separate motion for the what tier.
Yep.
Okay. Further discussion on the contract with Remark for the services provided for the end of 2024.
I do have one more thing for you all to consider. He does put travel expenses at a rate of 68 miles plus per diem and lodging. That's pretty standard, but I don't know if that's the state rate. It would,
Mm-hmm.
It is a state rate.
is that
Yep.
state? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was 67.5. So it's a non-issue then. Just want you all to be aware of it though.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So then we'll do the tier, motion for the tier.
I'll make motion that we use tier one rate for 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go with the top tier one rate for 2024 remote monitoring and support. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I think that concludes everything.
Thank you.
Want to thank Bo for taking the time to look through that at last minute. One of those things that arrived on our desk and oh. We can move back up to the agenda item. Blue Cross Blue Shield. Carrie Hunt is with us. Welcome, Carrie. Good to see you.
Nice little travel this morning. All right. I believe, Candy, did you give them all the information on the renewal?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I talked to Candy last week about the Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal, and kind of just looking at if you guys were to keep everything the same with your health plan, and probably just to kind of, for any of you commissioners that are maybe new and I haven't had the chance to go through it, Ramsey County has been on a grandfathered classic blue plan with a $250 deductible for many years. And why we have it called grandfathered is in 2010, healthcare reform was passed, and groups were given the option that if they had the plan that they liked at that time, they could keep it. They just could not make any changes to the plan itself. And they had to stay within at least 5% of an employer contribution. They couldn't change it by more than that. If they did, they would move it to a non-grandfathered status. Now, one of the things with the plan that you guys have, you do not have all of the preventative benefits that have been put in place with healthcare reform. You do have some, but not all of them. And so I did kind of give Candy some options if you're looking at trying to save a little bit of cost for the county, and then some additional benefits. But if you were to keep everything the same, your fixed cost, which is your stop loss premiums that you would pay to Blue Cross and Blue Shield, regardless if there's going to be a claim or not, is going up about 19.9%. There have been some significant claims that we are seeing with the folks with Ramsey County. And as a self-funded entity, again, you guys are responsible to pay the first $20,000 of each person's claim that is covered under this plan. Right now, you have a current membership of about 103 contracts, but you have many more members because you do carry a lot of family contracts on this plan. So again, that fixed cost is going up. And the stop loss premiums, for those that aren't aware, is the insurance that you pay Blue Cross for everything kind of above and beyond that 20,000. So again, anytime there's a claim that comes in over 20,000, Blue Cross and Blue Shield is taking care of that for Ramsey County. When you look at some of the high dollar claims that have come through with a group year size, this year we're seeing roughly around 21 high dollar claims. Typically in a group year size, we probably see about 13. And we have a majority of those 21 claims are still active. And so that means that looking into 2025, we do anticipate that there will still be some ongoing claims for those folks. Thus for the 19.9% rate increase. Now, if you go with our suggested funding level, and of course, as a self-funded group, we give you a suggestion of where we think you should fund your premiums or fund the pot. You guys can pick anything you want, but if you go with what numbers we are suggesting, we're suggesting that you increase your pot of money by about 9.3% at the suggested level. If you want to go with maximum, that would be about 8.4. And I know in speaking with Candy, I know that there is a lot of our self-funded groups do see these peaks and valleys. And of course, depending on where your pot of money is, you guys can decide what you want to do on that. The options that I am showing you, again, I mentioned that your current plan does have a $250 deductible plan. Our new plans start out at a $500 deductible. So I'm showing you a $500 or a $1,000 deductible. And that, of course, would be per member on the plan. But if you have a family plan, nobody is going to have more than that single out of pocket. I also included what's called a summary of benefit changes or coverages, in SBC. They do show 2024, but nothing is changing with those plans. So the out-of-pocket max does go up a little bit if you were to look at changing plans. However, all the preventative benefits that are built into healthcare reform would be part of the benefit package for your employees. One of the big ones is the colonoscopy. Right now, you guys do not have coverage for a preventative colonoscopy. It has to be medically necessary for somebody to get a colonoscopy paid. Now, the Department of Health and Human Services did lower the age for colonoscopies to start now at 45 instead of 50. But again, if people went in on your plan for preventative, they would have to pay out of pocket. There's no coverage for that. So moving to a different plan, folks would get that coverage for a preventative colonoscopy. Again, it would cover the mammograms and the PAPs, all of that kind of stuff, the immunizations, none of that is going to change. So it does increase the preventative services for your employees. And it also does come with what we call a value-based drug list. Right now, the plan that you have, if folks have diabetic medication, if they had blood pressure, cholesterol, any of that, they're paying a $15 copay and then 20% of their meds. On this new plan called the Your Blue 500, they would, if they're on cholesterol meds or diabetic meds, they would be able to get those medications for a $5 monthly cost for every 30 days that they fill that. So again, when you think of a diabetic, they are always going to have out-of-pocket costs. And so diabetic medications, and I believe I sent that to Candy, so there's quite a few pages of the diabetic medications that fall on that list. They only have to pay $5 for every month that they get that filled. So, like I said, there are additional benefits that do go along by moving to a different plan. And again, if we looked at doing that, you could, the stop loss premiums don't change. That 19.9 stays the same. But now you could be looking at, maybe funding it at, either a 9% or an 8% increase, because now your employees have a little bit more out of pocket. So they have a little bit more skin in the game if they use the plan than that classic Blue 250. So I will tell you, when I look at our book of business with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, a majority of our businesses, the minimum deductible is $1,000 nowadays. We don't see many people with a low deductible of $250. In fact, we wouldn't even sell a $250 anymore. So Ramsey County employees do have a very, very rich plan. Plus their premiums are paid. So it's really kind of going to be up to you guys on how you guys want to, expend the money. but also you'd be giving them additional benefits if you were to look at moving to a different plan. The dental and vision, which is also self-funded, that does not fall under your stop loss. So again, it's basically any time that somebody has a claim is only time you're going to be paying that. The dental, if everything stays like it is, it looks like we are expecting about a 2.9% increase, where that's pretty minimal. And then vision is looking at roughly about a 0.9. So those benefits are being used, but due to the lowness of their premiums, there's not a big increase in what we expect for claims with those two benefits. Let's see. I think one big thing that we are implementing in 2025 for Blue Cross and Blue Shield is we are going to be finally joining the 21st century and getting an app. Woohoo! We don't have to go to www.bcbsnd anymore. It's going to be called bcbsnd.me. And the big benefit about this app is all their benefits will be integrated into this app. And so they will have basically the world will be endless for them of what they can access. They'll be able to get their ID card right on their phone. They'll have instant benefits to see kind of if they have questions on where things are. So it's gonna be much easier for people to be able to see where they're at. They also will be able to get an idea if they're looking at different providers. It will rate different providers on, who's better at this than that. So that is going to be, it's going to be a game changer for a lot of our members in North Dakota. The one thing to keep in mind with any of the plans that you have with us, it's a freedom of choice. They can go wherever they want. If they want to bypass, seeing their primary and they want to go right to Mayo, they have that option to do that. There's no stipulations on that. There might be some services that do require a pre-authorization, but typically when they're working with their provider, the provider works in the back end of that for any pre-auths for that. The other thing that you guys as a self-funded group can decide if you want to exclude the coverage, it will be part of your benefit plan. If you move to a new plan, but I'm sure all of you have heard the buzzword, the GLP-1s, where people are using that for weight loss. If you move to the Your Blue plan, it will be part of that benefit. So you could see some expected cost just because we do see a lot of folks that are using those GLP-1s. In your grandfather plan, it is not part of the benefit. So people still can use GLP-1s right now under your current plan. It's literally, they have to get pre-authorization. I think that's the thing to keep in mind for the GLP-1s, no matter what plan people are on. They can't just walk into the doctor's office and say, I want to get on Wegovy to lose weight. They have to meet certain criteria in order for that to happen. If somebody is diabetic, they more than likely will probably be prescribed Ozempic. But if you are not diabetic, you're probably going to be prescribed Wegovy. And so that's the difference, is somebody who is diabetic is not going to be given Wegovy just because of that's not the main use for it. So they're finding that there is cardiovascular benefits along with the GLP-1. So again, that is something that if you didn't want to cover GLP-1s, you can opt out of that as a self-funded client. We've had self-funded groups do both ways. Some look at it, they're like, well, if my people can lose weight and they're healthier and they come to work and don't miss work, then we'd rather cover them than not cover them. So, but just so you know, it's kind of the buzzword. It's they are not inexpensive medications by any means. I think they run about $1,200 a month for people to be on that. Now, we are seeing that probably after a year, many people don't remain on them. But hopefully, there'll be more studies on that. But that is just something I wanted to let you know, that you're probably going to see some of those claims if you haven't already come through, because it is kind of the big old hot button right now in the insurance world. So I know I talked a lot, but do you guys have any questions, one on your current plan or on any questions on possibly looking at moving to a different plan?
So these other options are they at the same cost as we are right now? You said a 19.9.
Yep. So the 19.9, yep, that will stay no matter what plan you move to, because the stop loss doesn't change. It stays at that $20,000 level. So the only way that rate will come down is if we up the stop loss to say 30 or 35. But what that means then is Ramsey County takes on more risk and pays more in claims. So
So there's no increase as far as the budget goes.
Not really. I mean, like I said, you can either increase it by 8 or 9% or whatever your, if your pot looks pretty decent, you wouldn't even have to, maybe do that. But I think historically, if I'm not mistaken, I've been doing this, I think with you guys for 16 years, I think you typically take our suggested funding level. And if you don't have that many claims, it's your money. So it just keeps growing in your pot. So
it's a matter of choosing which plan.
Yep.
Sticking with the
stick in the current one or move into a non-grandfathered your blue plan. Yep. And if you do change, we at Blue Cross, we would come here. We did it when you guys changed before. We'll come here. We'll have employee meetings to let people, folks know what they're going to get. Again, it's going to increase their benefit package is what it's going to do. So they might see an increase out of pocket, but we don't want people to hit their out of pocket either. You know what I mean? So it gives them more preventative benefits where if they don't have those now, they're paying for that out of their pocket. So, we're trying to focus on primary care in 2024 and 2025. So we're trying to get people to go to the primary doctor so that they can catch something before it gets really bad.
Right.
So
the deadline to make the change is when?
Well, it really kind of is up to you guys. This goes into effect on January 1st. And typically, I think, Candy, if I'm not mistaken, you guys start doing payroll in December for January, correct? And so I think if you guys could make a decision by October, beginning of November, then we have time to get employee meetings and everything set up. So you don't have to make a decision today. It's just I wanted to kind of get this out to you guys because I know you're getting your budgets all put together of what you wanted to do.
So if there's no change in the budget, so that, as far as the budget, that money's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, so we'd have time to kind of get some feedback on changing it.
And if you do get questions from staff, or if you guys think of any questions after I leave, just get them to Candy. She can give me a call. She can email me, and I am more than happy to get back to you. If you need me to come back to another meeting, just let me know. I can either come from Fargo or I can join virtually as well. But I do know that any of the plans that I'm showing you are, super rich plans, and I think your employees would, maybe even like some of those additional preventative benefits that they currently don't have.
Yeah. Commissioner Volk, Commissioner Wilhelmy, do you have anything for Ms. Hunt?
Not me.
Paul? Nothing? Okay.
Okay.
Anybody in the room? Bill?
No.
Lee?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate you
All
taking
right.
the time.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Great seeing you. Okay. We'll table it for later. For the minutes to be clear. The change of plans. That's what you're talking? Yep.
So is there any way we can get this information out to the employees? As far, what the options are, and get some of their feedback on.
Nice to see you compare and contrast.
Well, that's what
I think some of the preventive care things that would be covered would certainly be beneficial.
well, that's what I'm thinking. It's sit here, not be on the plan and force something down your throat or get some input.
I'll get with Carrie and
Okay.
put something together and
For a comparison.
Yep.
So people can see it in black and white.
Yep.
Okay.
'Cause hopefully I would think that would be, be a change in deductible, but if you're paying some stuff out of pocket already, if it was a wash, then it wouldn't matter, you know. But it's still like opinions on it, I guess.
Yep, I can. She's in town working for a couple days, so I can.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. Bring us up to the, yeah, let's do the quote on the support for the armory for AVI. We have a price quote of, what is it?
2,279.
2,279. And that's no new equipment, that's just keeping, like a service contract, correct?
I believe that is tech support.
Right.
I'm gonna find the email here. Support renewal. Yes. So it's basically just tech support for what equipment is over in the armory. So if, you know, anything goes wrong during roundup or, you know, whoever uses it.
Is that something our IT person could do?
That I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
Hmm?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Get them acclimated with the system.
I make a motion, we accept the quote. And then, depending on who we, you know, have the new IT person check into it and see if we can save that cost next year.
Second.
Motion and a second to go ahead and accept the price quote from AVI for the service contract with poly support for the armory. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. (2025) preliminary budget. Certainly want to thank departments and the auditor's office, Candy, for putting everything together. Preliminary budget, something that has to be approved by the 10th of August. Preliminary tax statements go up by the end of the month. And from this point on, we can go down. We cannot go up with our budget. Final approval for the budget would be early October. Is that correct?
Yes. First meeting in October.
First meeting in October.
So by approving this budget right now, we still have time to go down, just not up, correct?
That is correct. And total budget is
I don't have
You don't-
figures because we didn't decide on any crews.
No.
what didn't we decide on?
We just decided today on
Oh, gotcha.
and Blue Cross.
Should we come back and with a special meeting and with the final numbers to approve the preliminary budget? Or do we have enough information to go ahead and approve it today? We'd have to do that between now and
Friday.
Friday.
It's gonna take me more than that.
It'll take longer.
Yeah.
So once we had the numbers, it wouldn't take long. We could have a 10-minute special meeting on Friday morning. Would that work?
Make that work.
We'll make that work.
Do it before
Do it before the dedication over at the memorial building. Okay,
Sure. I guess I'd like to see the number before
yeah.
And I'm using everything that everyone's presented.
Right.
Okay.
So what are you thinking for time?
What time's that deal? 10:30? Would an hour give us enough time?
Oh, yeah. I would hope so.
I would say do it at 8 o'clock, yeah.
Do it right at 8?
Yes.
Yeah.
That way we got time for discussion if there's discussion.
I've got 9 o'clock for that monument. Maybe that's wrong.
Yeah.
Isn't that program at 10:30?
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay.
So 8 o'clock?
Well, if it's at 10:30, about 9:30 or 9. I mean,
I'm okay that morning.
I will be traveling in Lakewood Airport at that particular point in time, so I can do like this. To go with.
Commissioner Volk, will you be in person or on the
I'll
road?
be in person.
Okay.
So
doesn't matter to me. 8. It doesn't matter. I was just throwing it out there.
it does not matter to me.
What time works for you on Friday, Commissioner Volk?
9.
9?
But does Wilhelm, does he need us to wait till after that warrior thing or that, what do you call it? I don't know what his plane tickets are. That Memorial Day for that memorial building? Maybe we go after that. I don't care.
Would
Would that help him?
would
Would
after
that help Commissioner Wilhelm?
Commissioner Wilhelmy, would that help at all with your timing for your flights on Friday?
Not really.
Earlier would be better.
So what's early? Does 7 o'clock work? I'm saying for 7 o'clock. That works for everybody. I don't
No.
Let's do it at 8 o'clock.
Like, no.
Let's do it at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Friday morning.
I mean,
Okay.
Want to make that a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have motion to second to have a special meeting to approve the preliminary budget for 2025 at 8 a.m. Friday, August 9th. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Visitors and delegations. Sheriff Lang, you've been sitting there very patiently all meeting. Do you have anything for us?
only thing I got for you.
Fantastic. Miss Cummings, anything today?
Today, would you be willing to send me the official valuation on those? Because I think what I put forward was just next week.
Brooklyn, thank you for coming. Anything for us today? Thank you for your great job reporting. All right. Any announcements? Portfolios? Anything, Commissioner Otis?
Nope.
Commissioner Gessner?
Nope.
Commissioner Wilhelmy? Commissioner Volk?
Nothing for me.
All right. With that, August 14th for the NDACO will be here in the building doing their president's tours. They'll be stopping by 3 o'clock on August 14th. So we'll, I don't know, I'm sure they want to do a tour of the facilities, meet with various departments. We'll make sure that this gets out to all the department heads, and maybe we can either meet downstairs with everybody and make sure that everybody, we have room, or if we can meet here, either way. 3 o'clock on August 14th. Association of Counties President's Tour, County Tours. We'll be visiting Ramsey County. Every year they try to visit between 17 and 18 counties. And we are fortunate enough to be on their list. I know Nelson County State's Attorney Jamie Tennyson is the current NDACO president. So, and then Friday morning, don't forget in front of the memorial building, somebody has noticed the little granite monument out there. We'll have another one with that, but the Fallen Cross memorial dedication will be 10:30 on Friday. Dwayne Sand with the Fallen Heroes organization has put together an agenda for that, arranged some public speakers for the dedication of the families, the Gold Star families of Darren Lindy and Jeremiah Santos, who passed away, and were killed in the global war on terrorism will be honored at that particular time with a lunch to follow at the VFW. And I think it's a great thing that we have the opportunity to be a part of that and have the space in front of our facility. So Friday, 9 a.m. or 10:30, Friday, August 9th. So with that, I have no more announcements. Anybody else?
Nope.
Going once, going twice. Meeting adjourned.